We talked at the top of the show about election integrity, Fox settling this Dominion lawsuit. We're going to keep this issue front and center, even though others like Fox don't want to talk about it. And it was interesting when Mike Lindell was in town talking to Club 47, I think last week, he was talking about how there was this town in Missouri that had conducted an election with hand-counted paper ballots. And he said, this proves it can work, and this should be a model for others around the country instead of using these machines. So let's bring in our correspondent, Carolyn Ryan, who's always doing a fabulous job. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome back. We're hearing now that a Texas group is pushing what Mike Lindell is talking about in the great state of Texas. What's going on?
It's spreading fast. Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, so, the 2020 election really opened a lot of people's eyes to the vulnerabilities that are inherent with electronic voting machines. And most election integrity advocates will tell you the only way to truly restore public confidence in our elections is to get rid of those machines and go back to the basics, which is hand-counted paper ballots on election day. But is that really realistic at this point? How would it even work? Well, as you alluded, there is a group in Texas called Texas First, and they worked with election experts from around the country, and they formulated this transparent process for hand-counting paper ballots. Listen.
We set out to create a model of a hand-marked paper ballot system where you hand count those ballots and you can actually have confidence in the results. So the big rock here in this whole system is the video camera. The video camera sits over top of the ballot, so you can see exactly what's on the ballot. And then another camera can see the hand actually pressing the vote result for a particular candidate.
Now, the next step was to put that model to the test. So this week, a group of about 45 grassroots volunteers conducted a mock election in Addison, Texas, to simulate the ballot counting process. They used a real ballot from Harris County, Texas, and they used an enlarged calculator-type device to track the number of votes per candidate. The cameras overhead live streamed the count, so the results could be cross-checked and audited in real time. They counted without the use of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or modems, and they ran several different scenarios with how the teams were configured to determine the quickest and most accurate way to count a large batch of ballots. And what did they learn?
Number one, it is feasible. It is very doable. Number two, it's efficient. And efficiency can be measured in terms of dollars cost. It can be measured in terms of time and also manpower. And it's within reach. If the legislators in Austin, Texas would pass our bills, we could decide tomorrow to make this happen, and we'd be ready for our next election in November.
So Texas First believes that if their process is carried out at the precinct level, it would work for even the largest counties. So over the next couple of days, they're going to compile all the data that they learned, everything into a final report. They're going to include a detailed workflow diagram, and then they're going to take all that information and they are going to present it to state legislators this week. Adding Karen.
This makes too much sense. Let's actually hand count it, not use modems, not use machines. Yeah. Actually do it the old-fashioned way. I think they still do this in France. Donald Trump.
I love that they worked it all out. They have a whole process. I mean, they worked through it, the cameras, the whole thing.
Let's check it out. Great. Let's make sure this actually matches. Let's make sure this is a legal voter. It almost makes too much sense. So it leads, I'm obviously being sarcastic, to the natural question, how likely is this to actually come up for a vote in the Texas state legislature? It makes sense, and yet somehow Democrats and maybe some rhino Republicans...
Well, they don't want practicality.
It's practical, but will they actually vote on it? Will it happen?
Yeah, well, to your point earlier, this is not unprecedented. There's, in fact, 7 counties in Texas that already do paper ballots, hand-counted elections. So this is really something that's already there. It's not unprecedented, but the timing is ripe right now because the state legislature is actually, they filed 2 bills, one in the House and one in the Senate, that both have to do with getting rid of the computers in elections. So if they can go Texas First and present their findings at a time when the legislature is already considering this, there's some momentum there. It could happen, but Texas First wants to take it one step further. They want to say, listen, yes, we hope statewide it will be adopted here in Texas, but they've created this model that they think is scalable and it can be replicated in other states across the country. So let's hope this is the start of a movement.
Yeah, let's get it going.